If I am going to live in a place, I owe it to the indigenous people of this place to know that story. And it is a beautiful, it is a rich, incredible story. And so I think none of us can get off the hook, right? We are here, whether we moved here, whether we were born here, whether we're immigrants from another land. You are here now, and you owe it to the indigenous people to know this story. And I think that in knowing that story, then it awakens in us a responsibility. And how do we hold that story? How do we wrestle with that story in a meaningful way? Even if you don't know the story very well, you know that the relationship between communities of faith, between governing agencies, between, the US military, US government, all of these churches, you know that that story is just wrought with trauma, with uh, deep, deep hurt. And when we begin to hear those stories, when we begin to understand that we hold a place in those stories, then we can truly begin with integrity to wrestle with what do we do with those stories. Many of those roads went in the 40s, and they also needed good dirt for that construction project, and they started taking more material off the top of this hill. It means that, yes, they were routinely uncovering human remains. From a perspective of a community of faith, we love to speak of healing. We love to speak of restoration. We love to speak of the completeness of humanity. So much so that those words can really become so overly used, they're meaningless. And if we're really going to, with integrity, speak of healing and repair, then it has to begin with deep, deep truth telling and listening to those stories that come from the shadows, that come from those voices that have long been ignored. And I think that that then calls us into a season of lament